Henry getting clear though. It's Thierry Henry!
It's the boss. But here's Messi. Away from 2, 3, 4. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. How good is he?
It's Ronaldo. Oh, he's done it! He has only gone and done it! Cristiano Ronaldo! And Gerrard! Oh, you beauty! Balotelli! Aguero!
This is the football heritage.
We might as well start the episode here. So
Yeah.
So right, should I do it? Okay. Or do you want to like stop because you got a question? So do you want to?
I thought Alex was gonna word it.
Okay. Oh, nice. Oh, he said it like if you introduce it, you like kind of explain it better. I don't know, but
Oh,
I don't
so he
mind.
said that.
I don't mind. Yeah, I don't mind. Let me think how to word it. So it's essentially players that
can pick very different nations, basically.
it's basically like players who are eligible to play for multiple nations. Why would they sometimes pick a certain nation over the other? So you got guys who like Sterling, who are very in touch with his Jamaican culture, but he opted to play for England. You got players like Xhaka, who's very patriotic towards Albania and Kosovo, but he played for Switzerland.
Sterling was born there, isn't it?
Yeah, he was born there as well, exactly. But why would he pick England over Jamaica given that? So like we're gonna go into like depth and what
or even
goes
like
into
a
that.
Grealish, Declan Rice, them.
Yeah, there's loads like players who've even like played at younger other countries at youth level and then opted to play for like a different one at senior level. So like there's just loads that go into making these decisions. So it's sometimes political, sometimes it's just career focused, but we're gonna like delve into it today.
Yeah.
This is it. I think that realistically, in probably 8 cases out of 10, it's going to be that the players chose a nation for, like, if not a strong personal reason, then just for the benefit of their career.
Yeah. So like
because they just find their level. Do you know what I mean? Like if an English person has a mad heritage with 2 different nationalities in it or whatever it is, and both of those nations are much, much, much lower in the footballing world, they're likely to pick those if they're that level. But I don't know. I'm waffling. Let's move on.
No, but it's mad. Like, so if you think of a Jack Grealish, he took time to get called up for England. Well, all the time he was getting called up for Ireland, Ireland is not like a bad team, but obviously England is better.
Yeah,
of course.
Like with me, like my analogy for it is kind of like in situations like that, you're like chasing something that doesn't really want you too much. Do you get what I'm saying?
In what kind of situation? Which one? Go in more detail. Like,
say, for example, Grealish waiting for an England call up, or it could be, like I know Doucouré has been like selected for Mali or something, but not turned up because he was waiting for his France call up.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Situations.
I've seen that before. I remember when he was at Watford and he was playing well at Watford. He was saying, I hope to be called up by the French national team soon and stuff. But obviously, players like Doucouré is crazy because if you look at a lot of international teams, you probably get in there starting midfield, like the majority probably. Yeah, it's mad. Even Laporte doesn't have one French cap.
Yeah, the Champs is a bit weird though, isn't it? When he picks teams. Because Laporte is probably one of the best centre backs in the world, but he's still not getting paid. Even though
it's mad. And they had, what's the guy? Adil Rami.
Yeah.
Adil Rami ahead of him.
Yeah. It's mad.
He wasn't bad in his prime.
Yeah, but he was playing for them past it.
No, I get it,
Just going back to
way
Grealish.
past it. He definitely knows the gaffer like them. His sister was his sister-in-law or something like that. There's a connection there. It has to be.
Yeah. One question that I wanted to ask you guys that can play like for more than one nation, is if you had a chance, what nation would be your first option?
Yeah,
That's an interesting question.
I've got an interesting
question.
Yeah, so do I. Because I've changed.
Same.
Like growing up.
I think that's as simple.
No,
Go on, sorry.
Like growing up, I would say, I want to play for Nigeria, blah, 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 because I'm Nigerian, whatever. But like, if you put yourself in the shoes of a footballer, in terms of what you really want to achieve, you want to play at World Cups, you want to play at big international tournaments, you want to do well in them as well. and then I've got dual nationality, so the other option would have been England. So, like, I'm a bit indifferent almost. Like, so if I was to pick England, yeah, I've got this better opportunity to like be at this national forums rather than playing for Nigeria. I'll play with players who are, you could say, lesser. And then taking that into account as well, there is a situation where I'm probably more related. I could feel more relatable to players in the England camp rather than in the Nigerian camp. If that makes sense to you.
Yeah, I was the same as you. I'm the same as you.
Like, people might not get where I'm coming from. So like the best way I can probably like put an anecdote to it is like an ACS at university. So like, let's take Loughborough one. Yeah? If anyone from Loughborough is listening to this and you're part of the ACS or the Nigerian Society, I'm sorry if this is wrong or whatever, but I'm going to say what I saw. So no, yeah, you've got the ACS and you've got the Nigerian Society, yeah. But what you'll find is that the Nigerian Society is just full of international students who are from Nigeria in that society. Whereas ACS, you'll have Nigerians in that society as well, but they were born and like raised in the UK. So they're more related to that kind of side. Right? Even though they're both like Nigerian, there's like two sides to it almost. So like they're more grouped together in the British side rather than being straight Nigerian. Does that make sense? Or am I waffling?
I see what you mean.
Easy to understand. Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Basically, yeah. So basically, you're saying that you feel more at home with Nigerians that are from the UK more than Nigerians that grew up in Nigeria, which is because they've had the same culture as you.
Yeah.
But so you're saying that fact will make you feel more comfortable with playing for England
it can just
for Nigeria.
It can influence the decision. You know what I mean? Like in the case of some footballers, like recently, I've seen a lot of like young players opt to play for like Nigeria rather than or switch agency. Like Adam Lukman, he's switched from wanting to play for England to play for Nigeria. That in the
really, I thought it was more the other way recently. Tammy Abraham, Tomori, what's the name? He's part of Nigerian.
No, he's
but he's not born there though.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's my point as well. Like a lot of these people who are, even though they're dual nationality or whatever, some of them have never stepped foot in Nigeria. You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So like from then going to playing for, because you can't get England. A lot of them are just picking it because they can't get England cap, so they want to play international football, so they just pick the other nation. A lot of them. You're not going from one side where, even though you're not like 100% British, you're not going to the country of your origin and you still feel like an outsider almost. So that could play another deciding factor in picking.
I agree with that. So if I lived quite about 6-7 years in Sudan. Remember it well, like everything's fine, but I'll still choose England because it's basically, if you go back, you'll still be treated as an alien. Even though you know the country well, you still be treated as an alien. Like, if you go back home, you'll be treated as a visitor more than a native. And I think this is the image that we get based on representing that country, for example. So regardless, I feel that I would not belong to that social cohort in that setup. And based on that, I don't think I'll feel comfortable playing in that environment, if you know what I mean. Because I just do not belong in the social cohort. I'm going to be one of the aliens in the group, if you know what I mean. Because most of them will be people who are more likely very familiar with that culture. They grew up in that culture. They grew up in that setup. They know the system well. But if I'm someone who comes, say, from the UK, goes there, I'll be an alien. And I think my output will not be as good as it will be because I just don't belong to that social cohort. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Can I just add to that?
I get you. Okay.
So that being said as well, there is the fact that you could say nowadays loads of people loads of like players with like dual nationality picking to play for the other nation. So like I've seen like the Nigerian team is getting players more into the other diaspora. So like you get players like Leon Balogun, who's German. You get what's his name? You got Trista Kong, who's Dutch, and you get so there's that integration of the diaspora. But I guess that makes you it kind of. I guess that's more beneficial in the long run, but at the same time, you don't want to not gentrify it, but like you don't want to like over put like just players from the diaspora who are better into the national team and have no like players from the actual country who grew up or through the system there in the national team.
Especially since that's massively due to opportunities. Individuals born over in Europe,
yeah,
like they're going to have more opportunities. Do you know what I mean? And it's sort of like only because of them opportunities rather than talent, they're likely to get those places.
True. I think it's just important to maintain that actual cohort, like the national cohort.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So having too many people, even no matter how good they are, I don't think they will be able. If they wear the shirt, it wouldn't mean the same for them as it means for someone who's from that nation.
Yeah.
So if someone from that nation, it would be more personal to them. But from someone who comes from another nation, this is more like a professional thing. Like it's a professional move. Even though they want to represent the country, but they just don't have that level of connection because it's just not their nation. I don't know. Like I think there's an element of identity, culture, and social cohesion that needs to be put in place. And I think people who come from Europe or live their life in an alien environment and come to that environment, they will struggle, and that will just ruin the national setup. That's what I feel is the case.
Can I ask a question? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is for Sab and Amir, because when I've seen you guys, I feel like if England were to play against Sudan and Nigeria, who are you guys supporting?
You see, when you ask that question, it's different.
Because I'm asking that question because you both said that you choose to play for England.
No,
I don't need to ask this question to David because I went to England versus Nigeria against him. I saw that he supports Nigeria more than England. I'm sorry, bro. You do.
Okay. The thing is, I said I was indifferent in picking between Nigeria and England if I was a player. If it came to supporting them as a fan, I'm probably going to pick Nigeria because of what I know now in terms of like colonialism and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm always going to pick Nigeria over England. You know what I mean?
I will pick Sudan 100%. Like, okay, I say that I follow Man City, but I actually support a Sudanese team. This is my team, so I support a Sudanese team. I follow Sudan as my country, but I don't think if I go there, I don't think I will fit in. You see what I mean? It's like I love a music art. I love Future, for example. I love his music, but I don't think I'll fit into that culture. Is that kind of? I don't know. That's a good analogy.
Yeah. You wouldn't chill with him together, just the two of you for 10 hours.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be able to vibe with him. Like our interests don't align. But I love listening to him. It's the same as that.
You know, it's an interesting case. It's the Xhaka brothers and the Boateng brothers. Yeah, I know in the case with the Boateng brothers, you got one playing for Germany, you got one playing for Ghana. Yeah, so
Ghana, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Kevin Prince, he came out and said he only played for Ghana, so he could like go to the World Cup and actually get a move to a better team. He was at Portsmouth, went to AC Milan, so it kind of worked out for him. But he seemed quite, I don't think, maybe we're thinking too much about like whether we'd fit in or not, because he seemed very assimilated into that team, even though he'd only played for Germany.
Did he came out and said he only played to play in the World Cup?
Well, he said he was using Ghana as a platform to like get a better move. That's what I think it came out and said. I'm pretty sure that's what I read somewhere. But this was years ago.
I think he's only played in the World Cups for them. Like I don't think he's played in any AFCONs or anything like that. But yeah, mad stuff.
That'll be a mad move if he's actually done that.
I think so. I think I can get up the stats right now.
I'll be honest though, my take on that question is like I would play for wherever my level is, literally. Life's short, your career's short. I want to play international football. I would play where my level is. If my level was so like, I could play for probably technically Northern Ireland or England,
Yeah.
But if I'm a championship baller, I'm playing for Northern Ireland. If I'm a championship baller at 29, or like I've got no potential to I don't know, how would you ever limit yourself like that though? But I don't know, like say if I'm a striker, Harry Kane's playing for England for the next 10 years.
Yeah. You've
got Calvert-Lewin coming, Rashford, etc. If I'm a championship baller, I'm picking Northern Ireland or Ireland. I don't think it's. I guess people talk about passion for your country and representing a nation and how important it is and pride and everything, and I completely understand it. I just think that to make the right logical decision, you'd have to be selfish and think about your career. That's honestly what I think. That's what I would do anyway.
So, but then. Okay, wait. First of all, I want to go back to the Kevin Prince thing. I just read an interview where he said he never felt 100% German, 100% Ghanaian. So he was always between both.
Yeah.
So when Germany, he thought he wasn't going to make it with Germany. So he picked Ghana when they asked for him. And he says that it's one of the best decisions he did. Go to his roots, see the culture, and get the opportunity to play in the World Cups. Okay. But going back.
Sorry,
I think that's cool though.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine as well, especially if when you're playing for that team, you give your all. Do you get me?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if it's
Yeah.
half-hearted and like, oh yeah, I don't really care about these man, then obviously that's different. That's like being a prick.
Yeah.
That is
100.
fine. Yeah, but the problem is later if you have a lot of them doing that in one team. That's where this is where the social cohesion becomes a problem. Like this is
just
my
a second.
issue.
I wanted to go back to a point and ask Alex because he said, say if you're a championship level baller, you're playing for Northern Ireland, wherever. So like if you're at a mad team, you're picking.
Wait, no, probably Ireland, because Northern Ireland, I don't know about making tournaments and.
Okay.
It could be the next Will Greg.
What I'm asking is how long are you waiting until you think like, oh, say for example, if you're like 20 and you're at championship, and Ireland calls you up, are you automatically going there, or are you giving it a couple of years to see if you get in the Prem and then England can call you up or whatever?
No, not at 20,
like,
of course.
How long are you waiting?
Nah, definitely not at 20. I don't know. I think probably more as your career's getting on, like sort of 26. I'll probably make that decision if I haven't been called up by England then. Definitely not 20. No chance. You have to believe in yourself more than that.
To be fair,
so your clear choice is England for sure.
For me,
yeah.
Oh, it would be, yeah. If I was a baller, yeah, of course. I'd want they're the highest level team at the three, as I said.
Yeah, I get you.
Plus, I was born here. My only connection to Ireland is my grandparents. Really, I've been there a couple times. That's it. So it's not deep like it is with some people. So
yeah.
See, Alex's point. Yeah, I see your point. Building on from that, but if we apply to our analogy, like obviously players who come from further abroad, like Caribbean, Africa, etc. Playing for England just makes more sense in a way that it exposes you more. Simply that. So say you have a talented player from, I don't know, Kenya, and another talented player from England. The person from England will just get more exposure simply because of the power of media, power of the spotlight that England has compared to another country. So I think maybe that's another factor in why someone would like to choose England, just to accelerate their career compared to someone else. Because they say, oh yeah, English media gas their players. But if I'm someone in that position, I want that, don't I? Like secure a big move or increase my profile, that kind of thing. Maybe
that's so true
to look at it
as well. Because obviously it hasn't happened and he hasn't really like pushed on to crazy levels. But until there was talk of him like getting involved with the England setup, no one really knew that much about Leon Bailey. And then suddenly everyone was talking about him potentially joining England. He had like 5 choices. I don't even know what he's gone with in the end, to be honest.
Jamaica.
Oh, he chose Jamaica, yeah. Okay, yeah, definitely.
Could have picked Belgium as well, I think.
But like, no one really cared till that conversation started happening. So that's what I mean. That's what made me think that's so true.
Do you remember that crazy conversation about Januzaj playing for England and all these other national teams when debut season?
And now
you had to wait like 5 years or something to be eligible for England.
Imagine that when you got Belgium on tap.
He didn't even chose Kosovo. Was it Albania?
No, he plays for Belgium.
No, he plays for Belgium, bro.
He scored in the World Cup. Yeah, he scored in the World Cup against England, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
He gets in squads regular.
I thought for sure he was waiting for Kosovo or something. I thought I heard something.
Yeah, because they were independent, weren't they, from Serbia or something?
Yeah, but it took ages for them to be eligible for.
Yeah, so then he just went for Belgium. Yeah, you're right.
It's Ronaldo. Oh, he's done it! He has only gone and done it! Cristiano Ronaldo!
Yeah. So I wanted to make the point that if you play for the team that is smaller, basically like the worst level team in a footballing way, you will get more respected as a player, like by the fans, just in your culture. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, I don't know, for example, like Tammy Abraham, if he played for Nigeria, would get, he'd get more love than a Tammy Abraham that played for England. And you can see this case, for example, with Ozil choosing to play for Germany instead of Turkey with what he complained about. And the same case with Lukaku for Belgium instead of Congo. Even Jerome Boateng, who won World Cups with Germany. Yeah, so what do you guys think about that?
I agree with you. Like, I've seen recently when Saka picks England over Nigeria, I just go on like Twitter and see the replies to what people say in it, and there's people from Nigeria just like saying, "Oh, this guy's not Nigerian anymore," blah blah blah, just like pretty much expelling him. So like, it kind of works both ways. In terms, like, I feel if he played for Nigeria to get lots of love, like it will be on like the cover of like Pepsi adverts and Pepsi cans when you go to Nigeria and stuff like that. So like there is like that kind of respect if you do pick England over Nigeria or whatever the case may be.
But the problem is you only get respected from that small one country, but the rest of the world doesn't really care because you're away from that spotlight now.
Yeah,
that's a bit harsh.
You see what?
I think that's a bit harsh to say that no one else really cares.
No one. Why would they celebrate you choosing Nigeria? It's not like okay.
But
like
no other country.
Do you see what I mean?
No other country celebrating who, no one other country is going to celebrate who you pick for if it's not any of that country. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if you choose England, if you chose England to get over Nigeria, England is just a much better. It goes back to this whole thing of like your image. England will give you that spotlight, that exposure because of the media power it carries.
It works both ways.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, it works both ways.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Because if you like you said, we've seen him when it goes bad with Ozil, we've seen it with Sterling as well. Like you have to perform because there is that pressure on you when you pick the like bigger team. So like they say, if you play well, you're English. If you don't, you're like from the other country.
Okay, but with the Ozil, the fact that he represented Germany helped accelerate his career.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
I think, yeah. So
bettered his career definitely by miles. Like I don't know about you lot, but I don't know anything about him really. I'd heard the name, but I didn't know anything about him for that 2010 World Cup where he's one of the best players there.
Yeah.
100%.
So this is why I think if he chose Turkey, he might not be in that position he is. He will get love from Turkey, but that is it. The rest of the world will be ignorant as who that person is. This is what I'm trying to say, basically.
I feel like I get your point, but I think you're going too extreme with it. Do you get what I'm saying? Like players, for example, Koulibaly that played for France under 21s, then decided to play for Senegal. This guy is still like renowned as one of the world's best centre backs, for example.
But
do you get what I'm saying?
But I think Amir's point still stands for that though, because he's not commercially like. Maybe it's because in this country, obviously, he's plays in the Italian league. He's never played in England. Rare, like that's the way this country is. Like players aren't in the Prem or English. Like no, they don't really.
But if he was French, he would have had more of a stardom.
That's the point I'm trying to make. Yeah, if he was in if he was in every tournament, like you're seeing him all the time in a French shirt next to all the French players in that French team as well, taking the piss with the names they've got there. By the way, like I think it would be his name would just be even bigger.
Yeah, Lenglet, Umtiti, all these guys.
And then again, it might not be the case. So if you take someone like Aubameyang, who's eligible to play for France, he wasn't going to get the opportunities while he was like a younger player because they had like better players in front of him, should I say. But now he's played for Gabon. Actually, I don't know because like maybe it's his club career that's elevated him to that stature, not rather than his national team performance. Because Gabon, they're not really...
Yeah, but at least with Gabon, like the love will stay there for him. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And he's managed to do, and his club performances, even though he started high at AC Milan, then he dropped like Saint-Etienne, some other French team, and then he gradually like rose up only through the club standards. But he wasn't gonna start for France. He wasn't gonna elevate himself that way anyway.
Yeah. I guess.
Yeah, but do you really care? Do you really care about Gabon matches? Not really.
But again, like that,
I don't care. But I don't care about.
See, that's what I'm.
Well.
Yeah.
See,
No, come on, no. You care about France. You care about France. It's the world champions. Like we all cared about it. Like we care about France.
What do you mean care in what way, bro?
Like
we always
like watching like France's magnitude. Like you're gonna
care
watch
for
France.
Care to watch it or care to, do you know what I mean, engage with it.
Okay,
I think realistically as well, the problem is like Aubameyang himself probably. I'm just looking now. He's got 26 and 65 for Gabon. if he played how he would play for France at tournaments, if he played for France all the time for Gabon, he wouldn't have 26 and 65. It'd be even better than that, and that's a decent international return.
Yeah, but also I know his dad was like his dad is like a Gabon legend.
Yeah.
And with this, it just made me think of Timothy Weah.
Yeah.
Whose father's obviously George Weah.
Yeah.
Who like played for he's the Liberia president, won a Ballon d'Or.
Yeah.
But Timothy Weah plays for America, which to me just seems like messed up. I don't know. I guess
it might be to the infrastructure in the national team setup as well. So like, I know in the past players have complained about like they'll come from Premier League teams to like the national team and say they don't have like balls, kits. I think it was Drogba used to buy supplies for the Ivory Coast team, so they had enough to train with and stuff like that.
That is just a madness because Ivory Coast is a big country, man.
But this was
I remember Drogba saying for tournament games and stuff, they had like there was no kits there and shit. So not tournament games, sorry, like not as in like World Cup, but
like friendlies and stuff. Do you know there's some cases where players have actually played for more than one national team though, like at senior level?
Yeah. Like for example, Zaha.
Yeah, Zaha. I think it was Xhaka's brother. What's his name?
Diego Costa, no?
Yeah, Diego Costa as well. Do you remember Manuel Iturbe?
Oh, the Nigeria.
Yeah.
No, Iturbe, no. He was Colombian, Argentina.
Iturbe, yeah. Oh, Argentina.
Yeah, Argentina.
Oh, okay.
Played a few games for Argentina. I think he played I think the max is 3 can play. You can play 3 friendlies before you finalize your whatever. I think he played like 2 for Colombia. I think he went back and forth twice or something like that. So he went from Argentina to Colombia, then Colombia back to Argentina. I don't know where he is now in terms of football, but he was one of the promising footballers back in like maybe 2013. But he's just like another case where like players, they can do it to an extent.
You know who the biggest piss take was in terms of changing nationalities?
It has to be Costa, really.
Yeah, Diego Costa. How are you going to switch to Spain at what, 28? After you've lived in Brazil your whole life, you've played for Brazil like once, but they just didn't rate you. So you go, okay, I'm Spanish. After playing there for what, 4 years or something.
Didn't he say because like Spain gave him everything in terms of like his career and whatnot? That's why he chose to like play for Spain. So
that's cat, bro. He became a professional in Brazil, man. What?
Yeah, but if Brazil aren't rating him, if the Brazil national team setup ain't rating him, well, he's not going to beg it.
Say it with your chest.
Should national teams be like that?
Oh,
should I be able to say, oh, England aren't rating me, so let me go play for Nigeria?
Yeah, if you haven't made an appearance, yeah, fuck it. Have an international career, why not? You're not hurting no one.
That's what players do, to be fair.
I feel like as long as you give your all, it's not too deep. But I just
if it's half-hearted, then you're and you're taking someone else's spot who's actually, especially if they're actually that's what I'm looking for.
Passionate, patriotic, or whatever. Is that
that's it? Not really, but it'll do.
With me, it's just like when I know a certain player will be appreciated in his like origins national setup way more, that I find it a bit weird. Like for example, Benzema with the whole France thing. Now you're seeing him here like supporting Algeria on Instagram, whatever. But when he had the choice, he obviously opted for France. But he has like they don't even want him anymore.
Yeah, but with North African is a bit weird because that link with France is very engraved in their culture. Like they have, I think Algerians have the highest diaspora in the world in one country. Like Algerians in France is the highest concentration.
100%. I'm just using it as an example.
Their case is a bit weird. Like I don't know. North Africans, I would say, is a special case because of the historical context and.
Nah, I wouldn't even say it's a special case like that because, bro, it's just like colonialism in general, like that. Yeah. Like, say, for example, they're telling me like Nigerians don't have a massive diaspora in England, or Jamaicans in England, for example.
I think there is that, but it's a bit different, I guess. Because
in North Africa is embedded, like their culture has been eroded. Like if you go to Algeria, everything's French. I don't know. It's getting to a historical debate now. It's getting away from.
No, but that plays a part in it, though. Because if you look at that France team, it's very. That's probably like the perfect example of like what we're kind of talking about. Like because they're like I wouldn't say they're the perfect image of multinationalism, but like they're multicultural nation in terms of like, if you say like every player had to play for the country of their origin, they wouldn't have a World Cup, any World Cups, would they?
Oh yeah, they'd have a player for
Agreed.
every country in the world, bro.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
So they've got players from Guadeloupe, they've got Mali, Senegal, Spain, Portugal, like all
Congo,
exactly, yeah.
everywhere, man.
So
That's
I feel
now as well. I
Yeah.
remember like 10 years ago looking at the Germany and France teams, looking at exactly this. Like 10 years ago, I was in like year 7 or something, and it was crazy even then. Like there was like half the Germany, half the France squad were both just not from either of them
yeah,
nations.
I think there's actually a documentary on Netflix about the France team and when they won the World Cup in '98 about like they were known as the tricolor or something like that, where it's like the Arabs, the blacks, and the whites or something like that. Like there's something very political about that. And then there was the thing again in like 2013 with Laurent Blanc and the quotas that eventually got him fired or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that one still.
Yeah, but
Even
in
in
case,
sorry, go on.
no, like even in the case of like when these players, when they do pick France, like they've grown up in the streets of France, they may have never been to like these home countries, and then they're basically like they're naturalized French people. So they're like just picking France seems like the first option for them, pretty much.
Yeah, I get it. But it's just like when you have the option, it's just interesting to see different reasons why people might want to pick one over the other.
Yeah, for them, they might not even have a link. I doubt Benzema's ever been to Algeria in his life. Well, before he became big.
I don't know.
It's the country. They probably see it.
I saw his documentary. He's talked about it. He's
Has
talked
Yeah,
about
but
it.
for these people, it's more like the country of their parents and their country, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand that. Like they're all second
Yeah,
generation.
I feel like it's a bit mad you saying it like that when you don't know too much. You get me?
Yeah.
But
I'm just being in historical context. Like I've read a lot of books saying that Algeria and France got it's an embedded sort of historical thing. It's a completely different debate.
yeah,
Speaking like political matters as well, I think that plays a part in like when players do pick from what country they want to play for, because like politics does come to play a part when some teams are actually picked for national competitions, etc. So like on like things like corruption and then just things that are going on in the country like do play a part. So the case I'm thinking of was David Alaba. I don't know why people say David Alaba. I'm pretty sure it's just David Alaba. But he's eligible to play for Nigeria, and he was in the Nigerian youth setup as well, I'm pretty sure. But the only reason why he ended up playing for Austria is because like some of the coaches kept on like trying to get bribes off him for money to play or trying to like force him to give them money to like get selected to play in the national team as well. And then some like with the France team or something similar, like where the FA of that country will have like certain requirements. I think this is around the 2010-2008 period, yeah, where the Nigerian FA wanted only Nigerians who actually came through the system in Nigeria as such in the national team. So sometimes when it comes to actually picking these national teams, other factors do come into play rather than just simply making it a career-wise decision.
yeah, that's true. That's a bit mad though. That's also like having kind of like a quota, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is I don't agree with that at all.
If it was the case where these countries where like you had to play for the country of where you're actually from, or if you can't really say, you can't put a definition where like where you're from, but like you know what I mean, like say like Benzema had to pick Algeria or for something. You get what I mean when I say that.
Of origin.
Yeah, country of origin, pretty
country.
much. Yeah. So a lot of countries wouldn't have a World Cup, but like France or Germany. But which countries would? Do you reckon an African team would have won a World Cup, or a country from another part of the world?
Algeria could have done a thing. Algeria have got borders. I'm not sure. Like off the top of my head. Do you get me?
Yeah,
it's hard to say.
Italy would have a strong squad.
Wait, is Zidane Algerian?
Yeah.
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 Mad.
Right. The only reason I'll say like this is a very hard question is because they wouldn't have been the people they are without the European infrastructure and setup. So we can't just say, oh, Benzema
No,
and
no, I'm not
Zidane
saying.
would have won it for
No,
Algeria
no,
because
I'm not saying that. I'm saying like they still like they were brought up in France, whatever. I know France have like level 1 but I'm saying they were brought up in France, but they cannot play for France. They would have to go back and play for Algeria, even though they've like come through the system in the French system.
Oh, okay, I'm with you now. I'm with you.
I think Senegal would have a mad team, probably as well. Like from the African one, Senegal and Algeria, I think would bang for sure.
Yeah. Senegal,
Nigeria,
Yeah, 100.
Nigeria would be good too.
we got
Probably Ghana as well.
I don't think Nigeria would be that much better, to be honest.
no. We have a midfield of Dele
We're
Alli,
missing out.
Barkley, and Alaba. That'd be sick.
To be fair, if you think about it, yeah, Nigeria, I would say wouldn't be affected because
No.
the best Nigerian players that came up chose Nigeria.
Yeah, it's only recently where like you've seen like players.
Yeah, like
Oh.
this whole thing goes against North Africans more, I'll say, and Senegal maybe. So I would say the North Africans are the biggest losers in that sense because they don't lose just players to France, like Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, like I don't know,
Yeah.
Fellaini, Chadley, all these guys. So
Yeah.
Adel Rami.
Rami, yeah, Kadira, yeah, but would you
It is,
think there should be like a rule change? There should be like a rule change. So, say I represented under 17 Sudan, do I have to mean that I have to stick to Sudan regardless?
No, because as a 17-year-old, you don't. That's too young for you to decide.
You're not ready. Yeah, you're not ready. I don't like that. I don't like that one either. I think youth. I think no one should argue that youth to international. If people say about the friendly thing, I understand that definitely, but I still think even that's fine. Like the switching after you've made a friendly appearance.
So even with a friendly, you shouldn't switch alliance.
No, my point is that that's what people would like. I'd understand people arguing that, but people arguing from 17, you have to pick your nation and stick to it. I definitely disagree with that. I think that's too far.
Right. Okay.
I remember
there's so many players as well who've represented different nations at youth and gone on to have crazy international careers.
Yeah, I remember at 17, I felt like Portuguese at all. I've just felt like Portuguese. Do you get me? But now I feel more connected to like being Cape Verdean, Bissau Guinean. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I've found out more about those cultures. I feel comfortable in those cultures.
Yeah, go,
So,
right. I've got an interesting question for you.
Like
Wait, hold on.
I've got an interesting question for you. So, Breezy, go on.
No, I was just gonna say my take on it is that I think I think players should have to give a reason for switching nationalities. And if the reason is I'm not playing enough games, then you shouldn't be allowed to switch. I think that's a pretty like obviously like it's their international career and they want to play games, but I'm of the opinion you should want to play for your national team. You shouldn't be playing just because you're going to play games or because this country is better than that country. I want to play for that team.
I feel like you can lie so easily about that though.
Yeah, you're gonna go up there and just
that's the difficulty. I get what you're saying and why that shouldn't be the case, but I think as a player, if I was a player, while that still is the case, I'll definitely be exploiting it and just playing international football. But I completely see why you would say it shouldn't be allowed. But like we're saying, it's hard to regulate that. How would you actually regulate that?
Yeah, true.
Micael,
What?
back to your point, you just mentioned that you felt Portuguese, then now you feel Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau. Okay, let's assume, this is from us as a player's point of view, but what about the national team itself? The national team itself might go like, you know what, we just don't want you. We don't think you're Cape Verdean enough or Guinea-Bissau enough. Do you think that happens? No, I'm not pointing at you to everyone. I'm just using you as an example.
As Sub said, that happens with Nigeria. That's happened with Nigeria before. So like, wasn't it something to do with Peter Odemwingie? Didn't something like that happen to do with like Peter Odemwingie or something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think his mum is Russian and he's born in Uzbekistan, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Or it's the other way around, and then his dad's Nigerian. And I think he's like the first diaspora player from Nigeria. I remember actually playing for Nigeria. And I think it took a while for him to get into the national team as well because they said he's not representative, or they might have said something like that. I'm not too sure. I don't want to misquote the case, but that definitely does play a part at times.
Yeah, so maybe there's an issue in terms of like management itself from that specific country. So for any of us, like say me, I could go say, oh, you know what, I'm a baller, whatever, play for a Prem team, want to represent Sudan. They could just say like, we just don't think, we just don't want you. Like it's that simple.
That happens. I remember. I think that happened with Pires.
Yeah.
Because I think he wanted to play for Portugal, but Portugal said, "Oh no, he's like half French or born in France. We don't want him," for example. But now you see, like a lot of players that were born in Portugal, grew up and born in Brazil, grew up in Portugal, just playing for us. You get a lot of, but I don't know. I think it depends as well on who's managing the team or whatever. It's just a very strange case because Portugal has a lot of like players of African origin anyway.
This is football heritage.